as you're walking around, you know, it's like a maze. You're going through little tunnels and up ladders and up different scaffolding because floors have literally just rotted through because for years and years they just have not been looked after. So I think, again, for someone to come in and have that vision and to say, do you know what, I can see this place back to where it used to be, it's quite inspirational. I think, you know, just working for the company, to know that Lawrence has come in here and said, we can turn this around, we can bring it back to its glory, we can make sure that this is a place which is not only commercially viable, but a place for the people to enjoy. You do still feel quite emotive when you walk in, but also you feel a sense of, you can see how incredible and how amazing this building's going to be. And that's so exciting, that's really exciting.
So the issue is, when I first got here and I first took on the building, which is probably two and a half years ago now, I couldn't see what actually the dereliction was. I didn't know how much asbestos there was in the building, and I didn't know how serious the corrosion and the rot was within the building, because a lot of the floors had literally collapsed upon floor upon floor upon floor. So now we've got to a point where we've actually taken away 1,100 tonnes in the last 3 or 4 months.
I've walked 15 developers around here over the years, and I did think that the best we were going to get was restoration and then the back end knocked down. Macob's plan, the last owners, was a sky tower. Horrendous prospect in an enclosed square and so on, but I was beginning to come to the conclusion that it was the only commercial. You know, it's all right to come up with great theories of conservation and everything, but if you ain't got 40 million quid, shut up, you know, and just sit back and watch the building fall down. Lawrence came here, and when I walked him round, I thought, good God, I've been here 20 odd years, he's got this in half an hour. The way he could instantly see what should be done, and it married up with my thoughts.
So as you can see in this room, you can see that this was the manager's office. It's going to be a private dining room for us, but you can just see the spores all around the building. The walls are totally sodden. The only light going into those bedrooms is from that light well. Okay. So the issue is that we are doing our best, one, to get through the plan that we need in time, which needs to come in line with also getting the funds that we need, because we're actually open on the 28th of April with 40 rooms. And you can see, when you cast the camera around, you can see the actual dereliction of the building, the damp and the corrosion of the steel, and the fact that we've got to resupport the whole building again. It just shows that this building actually is at risk. So the scary thing here is that we've got just 6.5 weeks to go before the site has to open. And as you can see, there's still a huge amount of work still to be done. Luckily enough, this part of the building is going to be closed off. But this side's going to be open. So we're just relaying the floor, because we've got a big do in here on the 28th, and the whole of this floor is going to be taken up with 400 guests. So this puts a lot of pressure on us for the 28th. The problem is, I've got to make sure that every time I come here, that I meet every single issue that this building has. And we've probably got about 30 different issues. The stonework on the outside's got to be done, the garden's got to be done, the stonework to the floor has got to be done, every single room has got to be finished, there's 40 of them. All the stories that resonate with the rooms have got to be done. Every single bit of decay that you can see from the outside of the building in has got to be covered up, because this will be an operating hotel, but for the next 6 months there's still 6 months worth of more work to be done in order to make sure that we get this actually finally open in October, which is a huge task in itself, which would mean that we've got this hotel open in just 14 months. And it actually stated when we first got the building that it would take 16 months just to get rid of all the debris, never mind getting the building open.
It's Signature's core concept to retain the heritage aspects. So all the bull and the problems that Lawrence faced with people saying he was basically raping the building and so on, absolutely stupid, because of course the more bits of heritage you can find, the better it is for his commercial project, never mind anything else. And that's what we've seen reflected. I think the biggest compromise is losing one of the arched panels. and that's going to be used elsewhere. So that ain't a bad compromise. Anything else, little bits, the floor has always been problematic, always for events and so on. It was horrendous. There's a little bit of parquet there. It's been covered over, carefully covered over. Fine. It means that the hall is practical. If I'd had the resources, I'd have done it. And I love the place, and I would have done that if I had the resources.
I think when you walk around this place, going through the floors, going through each of the corridors, going through to the roof where you can see plants and trees growing out, going to one of the wings which has got no floors in whatsoever, you can understand why people ran an absolute mile to take this project on. But at the same time, I think, and this is probably why I work for Signature and why you do and why we all do as a team, you just get excited when you come to these places because you can see that vision of what the end goal looks like. And that's for me that's the most exciting thing, without a doubt.
The people who I've walked around here, even as it is before now, are absolutely ecstatic. The Heritage Centre people, Butetown History and Arts, people whose whole lives have been based in the community and that of the area, are all ecstatic with the way it's developing. And at the end of it, a controversial statement, but it's true, as far as the building over the years has been raped and pillaged, apart from the hall upstairs, when you say facade, main hall, apart from a few bits of panelling elsewhere, that's all that was here to save, and that's what's being saved and improved on and highlighted.
I just can't believe that, people should come past and throw money over the hoarding. It's, I don't think people realise that if Signature hadn't got involved, that all you'd see is a pile of rubble. I don't think this would have seen another winter. I think it's plain to see that, the damage that's, the years of neglect has had on the building. And, I can't wait to see the finished product.
I think it's its third era. It had its first era was the industrial hub, when it was a trading floor. The second era was the social hub. And I think this time, it's going to be a major tourist attraction. I think it's going to be on the tick list. Cardiff, Castle, Millennium Centre, Coal Exchange, and I think everyone is going to visit it.
The guys that we employ in Cardiff are being absolutely unbelievable. I walk into a room, I'm walking on top of bird carcasses, I'm walking on top of feces, I won't even go into what other things that we've seen here, but really horrendous, awful stuff. These guys are knee deep in that every single day, pulling out the debris, getting it into skips and getting it pulled away. They're the real guys that have made this work. I've made it work up to a point. They're the guys who have done that job, and I've done it with a camaraderie that I've never seen before. So I'm really excited about taking them out later for a drink and actually thanking them for what they've done, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here.